Hey guys, it's your girl Boonie, and you're listening to episode 179 of the Boonie Breakdown podcast, your source for all things responsible and ratchet. Support for today's episode comes from Dame Products, a sexual wellness brand with a primary goal of closing the pleasure gap. I personally love the versatility of the products, guys. If it says it's a G-spot vibrator, you can even use it on your clit too. There are so many great options with this brand. And as a Boonie Breakdown listener, you can receive 10% off your purchase by using the code Boonie, all caps. Details on how to purchase can be found in the show notes and on thebooниebreakdown.com. All right, guys, welcome to this week's episode. I am super excited for this episode because I believe this week's guest is a trailblazer, first of its kind here on the Boonie Breakdown podcast. It is the first time I'm having a male guest, a solo male guest on here that is not our problematic fave, Brian, and not the homie KG. So this week, our guest is none other than Orlando Roye. He's a digital creator and a co-host of the Hard and Soft podcast. We have him on for a dope conversation about male pleasure, sexuality, how to navigate the use of sex toys with your partner. Ladies, Orlando gives all of the tips. Also, I have to make this caveat. We recorded this on video, okay? And so if you're in Patreon gang, or if you're not in Patreon gang and you want to join, you could do so now because I'll be dropping the video of this episode over on Patreon. But the energy of Orlando oozes through the screen. You know, big dig energy, he's got it. So you want to stick around for that conversation. All right, we're going to hop into my pick of the week. This week, it's an easy one, fucking holiday weekends. And you know, the only holidays that matter to me are your birthday and holidays that you get time off from work. I don't give a fuck about Easter. I don't get time off. So shout out to the holiday weekend. Even though the weather was trash as fuck most of the weekend, I was a little sick under the weather. So it actually worked out. So I didn't have FOMO like I was missing anything. But shout out to the 3-day weekends. 4th of July, you're up next. And I can't wait for my day off. All right, we have a lot of housekeeping this episode. So we're going to try to get through this very quickly so we can get into the episode and conversation with Orlando. If you are listening and you've been sticking around, wait a minute, let's back this up. If this is your first time listening to the Boonie Breakdown podcast, welcome. I hope you stick around. I hope you go hit the subscribe button, follow our podcast. We have a good time here, responsible and ratchet, and I call my crew the Ratcheteer Gang. They named themselves. I didn't come up with the name. Also, there are 4 episodes left in season 9 of the podcast. That's right. Just 4 more episodes and then we'll be wrapping up. I still have not picked a date yet for season 10. I don't want to commit just yet, but the date for season 10 will be dropping soon. All right. So also feedback from last week's episode with KG. Someone said, Boonie, I was going to yell at you. I could not believe that you were going to go a whole season without having our responsible fave on. Yep, Brian's problematic. KG is responsible. I love having your energy in your episodes with KG. It's so funny how responsible he is. So KG, they love you. They would have beat me up if I did not have you on. So thank you guys for listening. If you have not listened, you can head on back and listen to last week's episode. Also this week, another Patreon highlight. If you are a part of Patreon gang, this week we have on Thursday, June 3rd, we have our First Thursdays live event. We are going to have a cocktails and conversations with Erica of the Brown Girl Experience. If you did not know, she's been on this podcast before. She did my Philadelphia live show, but she also develops and creates games. So she's going to be leading us through a little activity. It's for grown folks. She maybe put that caveat on there. So if you have not joined Patreon, here's another reason for you to join our Patreon. You can head on over to patreon.com/the Boonie Breakdown. But again, only the $6 and $15 levels are invited to the monthly live events. All right. So get your drink. We're going to be on there Thursday, June 3rd at 9 p.m. Eastern time. We go about 90 minutes each time. Sometimes they go longer depending on how the drink's flowing, how the conversation's going. But head on over to Patreon, sign up. Can't wait to see you guys there. Also, last week I was a guest on 2 different podcasts. You could have catched me on the Turn On podcast Love the name, love the aesthetic, love everything about that podcast. Erica and Kenra had me on. I was a guest there. I was also a guest on Sensible Sex with Dr. Windasha. Love her podcast as well. She was a guest on my podcast. So it was really great. I love doing guest podcast spots. It's always great to be on the other side of the microphone and just show up and talk my shit. So if you want a triple dose of Boonie this week, you can listen to this episode and then listen to both of those. I will link them in the show notes. Also, if this is your first time here, again, like I said, welcome. You can follow us on social media at The Boonie Breakdown on Facebook and Instagram. Instagram, I'm the most active. We have a lot of fun over there. We have Would You Rather Wednesdays. We have Talk to Boonie Tuesdays. It's a whole lot of shit happening over on Instagram, so you can follow us there. Also, I want to say too, Instagram is back flagging me for shit. So if you do not follow the backup page, our backup page is at Boonie Breakdown on Instagram. So go ahead and follow that if for any reason I wake up and Instagram yanks my shit away. Also, you can follow us on Twitter at Boonie Breakdown. We're on TikTok at the Boonie Breakdown. Anywhere, just type in Boonie Breakdown. You will find us if we are there. Also, if you listen in the purple app on any Apple device, so that's iPhone, iPads, iPods, MacBooks, you can leave us a glorious, amazing 5-star review. We love you long time for those. We got a great review this week from Miss Web 80. She said, "Thanks, coworker, 5 stars. Thanks for keeping me company in the office and making the time pass by. Love the variety of topics and keeping it real. I must admit, I routinely burst out loud into laughter at times. LOL." So, hey girl, I'm glad I could be your coworker and get you through the days at work. Thank you for leaving us a 5-star review. So I look forward to reading you guys' dope 5-star reviews as well. Again, over in the Apple Podcast app. If you're a Droid listener, like I want to leave a review too, you can head on over to our Facebook page as well and leave us an amazing 5-star review. I think I got through all of that the quickest I could. I did not want to spend 15 minutes before the episode and the conversation with Orlando. So now I'm going to shut the fuck up and let's get ready to break it down. All right, guys, it's your girl Boonie. I'm excited for this week's episode, and I have to give a shout out to the homie Sheikah that everybody loves because she put me onto this guy's podcast, and I fell in love with him and his co-host. So I would like to welcome Orlando to the Boonie Breakdown.
Hey, love. Hey, love. Thank you. Thank you for falling in love with me.
I mean, you guys are so likable, and you know, your partner in crime, Tahoe. Mm-hmm. He just answered a DM for me this morning that he's gonna fucking come on my podcast. So look, I got both of you guys.
There you go.
Not in a spicy way, but I got both of you. Look, Sheikah, don't be bad, sis. So you are the first guy that I'm having on my podcast that's not one of my homies. I normally only have Black women.
That's good. Let Tahoe know that I came here first.
You did it first. So I want to start because people aren't familiar with you. You co-host a podcast, Hard or Soft podcast. What I love about it, it's 2 Black men doing a sex positive podcast, which I feel like is like an untapped space. So kudos to y'all. Yeah.
A lot of I feel like a lot of men try to come into that space and they kind of fall short, whether they're closed-minded or toxic or
toxic
or they just can't find a connection with their audience. And I think that's what makes me and Tahoe like so special and so different. We're able to cover all 3 bases, and we're very relatable to a lot of people, and even the people that I feel like we may not be relatable to. We are someone that like is a goal. Like I want to be like them, not necessarily them, but like I want to be as open as them, or I want to be as thoughtful as them. And yeah, so that's why I really enjoy our podcast in itself.
No, I agree. And I think my first introduction, I want to say you guys were on Horrible Decisions.
Yeah. Shout out to Mandy and Weezy.
Yeah, I think you guys were on there. And it's funny because as a podcaster, I try not to listen to the big podcasts too much because I don't want osmosis. It's people are like, oh, you're following them. So I try not to. But I remember Sheikah was like, you got to listen to this one. All right, Sheikah, I'll listen. And I was like, you know what? I like them. And so I did start following the podcast after that. So
that's great.
You guys do a good job. So how did you become so sex positive? Because I feel like Black men, first of all, they think they're freaks. They think they're sex positive and they're really not. But I feel you walk the walk. So how did you get there?
So actually, for me to be this sex positive, the sex part of it isn't like the it's not the first thing for me. It's actually that I'm actually very curious and I'm actually very open-minded. So I'm actually curious and open-minded about a lot of things, just about everything in my life. Is this that I'm also very sexual. And then when you mix the curious and the open-minded part, it just makes me seem like I'm more sexual than I really am. But it's really just curiosity. Like I'm willing to go there and wonder like, oh, what's that gonna like? What's gonna happen if I do this? It's the same way like if I do drugs. So I've done shrooms.
How was that experience?
Oh, shrooms is amazing. I just had a shroom trip last night. It was amazing.
I was looking at your Insta story. It was stalking.
Great. Yeah. I was looking at my phone and my phone started to look like cartoonish. And the blue lights like really started to like stick out. I started to see like little mini fireworks around my keypad. It was an amazing trip. I just cuddled up in my bed. I let it and I had an amazing time. But that just goes to show like that's me and everything. I always try to find like the most efficient way to do things. I always try to find the best way to go about things, the most genuine or organic way to do things. So it's actually the fact that, like I said, I'm curious and open-minded that makes my sexual experience that much better.
I love that. I always be sharing my own business, but I recently was just talking to someone and I was like, our next rendezvous, I want to lead. And it was like, what do you mean by lead? And I'm like, so here, let me baby step. So I'm like, oh, well, let's start with a blindfold. Whoa. And I'm like, whoa is the response to a blindfold, like my nigga. So openness, go start there, because so many men, they swear, and I'm generalizing, I know, go ahead and do it. But like, I feel like so many Black men are like, yeah, I'm down, I'm freak. And you do one thing that's not their normal sexual activity. And it's like, whoa, stop. Hard stop.
Yeah. And it's like, I understand it because we haven't been put in a lot of positions to be open. And there's been a lot of like judgment when it comes to Black men, like exploring their sexuality. But once we realize, and once we realize that there's so many other people that are just like you, and you're not the weird and odd one out, I feel like people start to become more accepting of doing a lot of things. Because that's what a lot of times we'll get a bunch of DMs or emails that'll say like, it's great to just know like there are people like me. So I think we just have to put Black men in a space to feel comfortable and open to explore these places.
Okay, so what's a concrete way someone can do that with their partner? Like they want to try new things. Their man's like, what's one little thing they can do to kind of create that space?
Other than communication, I would say you have to adhere to their pride. Like, so Black men are like very prideful, and egotistical. So you have to make it seem like what we're doing is going to stroke your ego. Like, if we do this, you're going to probably be the best partner I ever had because nobody's ever done this with me before. Like, you're going to be the first. Like, it's something that's going to like stroke their ego and make them feel like, oh, word, yeah, I'm putting it down like that. I think other than communication, like that's one of the best ways to go about it. At least I know that's something that would like turn me on and make me want to be like, you know what? all right, if that's how it's gonna be, like, yeah, let's do it. I know one time this girl told me, I think she wanted to put a finger in my ass, something like that. And I was like, I don't know. I don't think women are really good at it. I was like, I don't think women are really good at finger popping. And she goes, but you're gonna enjoy it. I was like, I am. Okay. I am. If you say I'm gonna enjoy it, then sure. Oh my gosh, let's do it.
So, like, all right, that's all it took for you to get a finger in your butt? Because I feel like that's another one. Feel like most Black women feel like they would be attacked or harmed if they tried, even though it would bring so much pleasure.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I don't think women are good at finger popping.
Why?
So I don't know why. I don't know why y'all just
I didn't know if you just had like a study, you did a sample size or some shit.
No, I feel like when it comes to that, like, so when it comes to a man's ass, like, there's an emasculating feeling right there. And then when a lot of women want to do it, they want to do it because they feel like now they're dominant and there's like a power switch or a power dynamic that comes with it. And it's like that's not what makes it like pleasurable. So if you're coming into this, like, you don't want me to feel emasculated about it, but you're in an emasculated mindset while doing it. So other than that, sometimes women could just be too rough. And then there's nails. It's just like there's a lot of factors that
I think nails, I always say I'm jealous of bad bitches who can do long nails. That's not my wheelhouse. But I would be fearful of somebody with some stiletto ass nails trying to put their fingers in my booty. Mm-hmm. I'm with you.
Exactly. Yeah, so that's a few of the reasons, but it's not to say that it can't happen. I feel like when it comes to the ass, even with me putting my fingers in like women's asses, it's not about going in and out. Like, it's not the vagina. It's not meant to be in and out motion. I just like to go in there and just hold and just like put pressure.
The fullness, like, yes.
Yes, exactly. So it's not about going in and out. Like, that's what a dick is for.
Yeah, I feel like the booty just, it's been getting a lot of attention recently. And I even feel like, to your point, I get a lot of people asking about pegging. And I'm like, that's not something I'm interested in or have I done. So I don't know what to tell you. But go ahead.
I was going to say, and that's the pegging is another one where women just want to feel like they're dominating somebody. It's like, so are you doing it for their pleasure, or do you just want to feel like, oh my gosh, I've been dominated for so long, now I want to be dominant? Because when it comes to Black men, that's not what's going to make us. That's not what's going to make us feel.
Not going to make you sexy, yeah. Yeah, no, I get it. But it's just like, when did that fascination come with? But on the reverse side, I don't mind butt play. It's like you said, as long as we talk it out and we do it. It's not something I enjoy with everybody. So it's not on the menu with everybody. But I also think that's another thing that people just get so tied up in. I know how to do this very well. And so it's going to go very well on everyone that I do it with. And that's not the case at all.
Not at all. Not at all.
But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like the butt is like big on the menu these days. And it's not as taboo as it used to be.
I mean, I get it. I get why, because it's like, yeah, it's not as taboo, and but we're still working with it. But I mean, I'm the type of person where I like to utilize the whole body. Like, there's so many different places on your body that you can touch, lick, kiss to make your experience like so pleasurable. Like, funny enough, the butt isn't even the place that's like my go-to. It's more so feet for me.
Ah,
I love sucking toes. It's just so much fun.
You look like a nasty nigga who sucks toes. See, look at, if you watching the video on Patreon, you saw the tongue and everything. Okay, I'm just gonna go here. Mm-hmm. So your dick is curved. Which way does it curve?
To the left.
Ah, to the left. So how does that work on anal?
That is a good question. It's an adjustment. I've found that it's different for different people.
Okay.
So it's not just the curve, it's just like the thickness also. So because there's a curve, it just feels like it's actually wider than it is. It's already wide in itself, and it just feels like it's wider.
Talk your shit.
when it comes to anal, I'm usually around like a quarter to like halfway in, sometimes like 3/4 in.
And it's tap out.
Yeah, going balls deep like during anal, like
With
that's
a curve to the left.
yeah, like that's a lot to deal with. I mean, I've had someone that was like that's done it, and even I was shocked. But yeah, it's more so about I'm usually around like halfway in. I don't necessarily like go balls deep, and I also still have to take my time. So like without the curve, it would have been a lot, but with the curve, it's just like
Yeah, I could not. Trying to process that myself, and yeah, I don't even know how I would facilitate that. Because that's always my thing. If we're gonna try that, then all right, you got to listen to me, and I'll give you the cue where you can go at it.
Yeah.
But as we're entering, you gotta take my cues from me. And
Yeah.
that one would be hard to maneuver, I gotta admit.
Yeah, it's an adjustment. Like anal takes so much patience. And sometimes like when you're in there and then you get to a certain point and it feels good, like you don't want to stop, but you have to because you have to worry about like the person that you're fucking. And it just takes so much patience that sometimes like I really have to be in a mood of and have the time to so we can like do anal because like
Yes.
when it feels good, like you don't want to stop, like you want to continue strokes, you're in the groove, you're in the zone. So
It's the fullness of it. It's just a different pressure, and I always
yeah.
tell people like try it. I know women are so scared and it's so scary, but
Mm-hmm.
if you just talk it through and
Yeah.
relax, you can't be
And
like
yeah, you can't be tense, you really gotta just like
you
sit
just
there
have to be relaxed. So if you need to take an edible, take an edible.
whatever you can. But there's like ways to anal train. I think anal train is actually the best way to go about it. And
If I could do it again, I would do that. Um,
yeah, anal
yeah, I
train.
just went balls to the wall. We figured it
Crazy.
out along the
Crazy.
way. And
Crazy.
it was not a small piece of meat. So I'm gonna pat myself on the back. But but yeah, if I could do it over, I would definitely recommend that to people.
Yeah, I had a sub who wanted to try anal with her partner, and I helped her like I gave her some tips on what to do, and in about like a week and a half she was ready to go.
So you don't even take that long. A week and a half, that's it.
Yeah, and she
Yeah.
didn't even go through like the full process, and she was still like already ready to go. So yeah, it just takes some time. Yes.
Okay. So tell me, I'm getting all in your business. What's your favorite sexual position?
My favorite sexual position has to be her laying down flat on her stomach. Easily. I feel like that's a lot of men's like favorite sex position also. But it's because like I get full like entry to you. Like there's nothing in the way. It just feels amazing. That's actually my go-to position to nut. If it's taking a while and I know it's like I want to nut, that's like the go-to position to go to use. If not that, it would be her on her side.
Okay.
Like me, like in regular missionary. If I was in regular missionary and her on her side, that would be it. Because of the curve. Now I'm hitting like her spot, and I'm able to like grab titties. I'm able to kiss her. I love the way like the thigh and the ass looks like that's right there. I can grab it and just
come on, visual.
Open like it's.
I see it.
Yes, it's her on her side. Now I need to have sex.
Listen, I'm sitting here like text. Yeah, I don't know. I was actually shocked because I feel like you said, I mean, land on the stomach. I thought you were going to say doggy because I feel like that is like the go-to fave for so many.
Yeah, doggy's cool. It's just I don't know. I get bored of doggy pretty quickly.
Really?
Yeah, it's dope. But the thing about like, on her stomach, on her side, like there's so many different like variations like I can do. There's different variations in doggy also. But when she's on her side, then I can maneuver like her legs. I could put a pillow under her. Like there's just so many like different angles I can use. Doggy might not be my favorite, but like when we're both standing up and like I push her against the wall or like we're both standing up and I'm in her, it's just like that's what gets me, because it's just so doggy. I feel like it's more rough, but standing up could be rough and intimate because we can kiss.
I
I could
was
grab
just about to
like the
say, it
neck.
seems like you enjoy a more intimate approach.
Yeah, beautiful.
It's
So
your whole aura. I can feel it. It's coming through the screen. I feel
yeah, so
it.
is she standing up and on her tippy toe and like the dick is in her and I could put my one hand under and grab her titties. The other hand is like grabbing her neck, kissing on her cheek, neck, and just we're just making out while it's all in you. And then I could push you up against the wall, like, and our bodies, like my chest and stomach is on your back. Like it's.
Do you write erotica?
I actually do.
Yeah, I
I
could
write it.
tell.
Yeah, I write it for our Patreon. So yeah, that's actually been a lot of fun, just exploring that, because I used to enjoy writing when I was a kid. Actually in the 8th grade I was supposed to write a sequel to A Raisin in the Sun, and my sequel story, I was 14 years old and my story had like a sex scene in it. So
I thought you were about to say you were in 8th grade and you were writing erotica.
Yeah. Well, that was actually my first time trying to write erotica
It's in that scene.
as a story, and it was in that scene, and I was a kid and I was like, fuck, I'm gonna try and see like how it goes. Submitted it and everything with
that
like
is bold.
utmost boldness and pride. I submitted that. The way I got a big ass fucking red 0, but that was my first time ever writing some type of erotic like scene.
I appreciate that you submitted it. Like,
yeah. Like, oh, this is gonna be fine. Like, I'm definitely not gonna get in trouble for this. But yeah, so
but like, how detailed was it in 8th grade?
So detailed. I was talking about like I was describing like kissing on her neck, and then his tongue traveled from her neck down to her chest, and his swirled around her nipples.
Were you a virgin then?
No, actually,
Okay.
I lost my virginity when I was like 9 years old.
Shit.
Yeah.
To an older woman?
No, she was like 13.
Okay.
Well, it's like 12, 13 or something like that. Yeah.
So you've been fucking since you were 9?
Did
you ever have a break?
No, I've been fucking since I was like 13. I lost it when I was 9. I was like, I mean, who really knows what they're doing? But I was
I was going to ask that next.
Yeah, like I said, I was just like so curious. So I was like, oh, what happens when this goes here? And then when I really had sex and really came, I was like 13 years old. And then since then, you're not really having a lot of sex at 13. It's just sporadic. And then when I really got like to high school, like 15 years old, then I was just like,
a 2-year break.
Yeah. More consistent then. And then once like after high school, my senior year to like after high school, it was just like easy breezy. I've never had a problem like having sex.
I think it's your aura. It's the confidence you have.
Yeah.
You clearly know you have a nice dick. So
yes,
it's so funny because that's the one clip of Kevin Samuels that I will agree with.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you saw the one where he's talking to the guy. He's like,
but do you have a big dick?
Do you have a big dick? And he's like, well, maybe.
Oh,
he's like, no, nigga, you know.
No, because if you have a big dick, you know you got a big dick. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. I actually found out when I had a big dick. I actually found out I had a big dick in the 8th grade. Because I wasn't too sure.
How did this come about? A lot happened for you in the 8th grade.
Right? No, and funny enough, I went to this school called Philippa Schuyler in Brooklyn.
Okay.
And it's really one of the more like well-known like junior high schools. And in that school, I was by my like friend's house, and we were being little fast asses and had some girls over and shit like that. So apparently from like the 7th to the 8th grade, or I don't know when it happened, but my dick grew. And so
not your feet, not your arms.
But I noticed my dick grew. So I was like, I wonder, like, is this like a good size? I told this girl, like, yo, come here. So she comes over and then I was like, yo, look at this. And she looked down, she goes, oh! And she screamed, and everybody was just like, what the fuck was wrong? And she called this other girl over, and she was like, oh my God, like, look at it. And she looked, and they were like, yo, it's so big. I was like, all right. All right. Well, thank you, ladies.
That is hilarious.
that's how I found out I had a big dick. And then as
And it's been
time went
confirmed
on,
since then.
yep.
There we go. I feel like 8th grade was a pivotal time in your life for you.
Oh, yo, it definitely was. It was definitely like life changing. It really set the foundation for me to be who I
So
am now.
you learned your erotica skills. You learned you had a big dick. What's the other third fun fact about 8th grade for you?
It's actually not even sexual. I learned that I actually learned how to manipulate like the school system.
Okay.
So I can manage having fun and passing my classes. And I just kept that same. So basically I learned work smart, not hard. That's actually what I learned in the 8th grade. And I was like, because the way like the grading system was, I was like, okay, if I do this amount of work, I'll get this amount of I'll average this amount with my grades.
Mm-hmm.
And then by the end of the school year, I'd have done enough to pass. I don't really need to do nothing else to pass. Like whether I'm getting a 98 or a 78, I'm getting the same diploma as everybody else in junior high school. And then I just kept applying it and, a little bit of editing it so I can get to a certain point in life to where I'm successful. But that's all I did. I just kept working smarter and not harder. And I always hated
with the finesse, learn it in 8th grade.
Yeah, basically. And I love learning. I just hated school. I hated like the school system of like you have to sit down and listen and basically remember things and then just repeat what you remember. I don't really feel like that's learning to me. And once I applied like working smarter, not harder, like I've gone so much further than just like without busting my ass. And to this very day, I actually have a job that pays me more than I actually work.
That is always the key to life.
Exactly. And that's
Mm-hmm. I like it. So this episode is airing on the last day of May, which is National Masturbation Month.
One of my favorite things to do.
All right, check. How often do you masturbate?
Well, I got a fucked up thumb, so I might not be masturbating for a while.
You don't switch hands? Or you have a favorite hand?
Ambidextrous.
Okay.
Well, not with masturbating, I'm ambidextrous. It depends. On a busy day, I'll try to get in like one out, at least one per day. But if it's a day when I ain't doing nothing, I'm just in the crib and I'm just chilling, I can masturbate up to like 5-6 times a day. And it will not be a problem. I also enjoy masturbating after sex.
Okay, I was going to bring this up because I remember you guessed it on somebody's podcast and you said that. And I was so like, wait. Because I think as women, I would take that I would internalize that. Like, did I not do? Did he just fake it? What's going on here?
Oh, no. I masturbate with the thought of the sex we just had.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm actually reliving like the intercourse we just had. The
imagination that quick.
I'm running it through my mind and I'm masturbating with the thought of whatever we were doing during sex.
So if it's somebody you're with and you don't do that afterwards, is that a sign that it was bad?
No, I do it all the time.
Every single time. Mm-hmm. That is like,
yeah, I might not do it like right after, but when I get a moment to myself, boom. Yeah.
So do you masturbate before?
I try not to because I've always been the type to where it takes me long to nut. So I know like if I masturbate before, it's gonna even take even longer, and sometimes I could get like really desensitized. So I'll masturbate. I'll try not to masturbate before I have sex, but for most part, I mean, it doesn't take me. I mean, it takes me a while to nut anyway, so I don't even need to masturbate before sex.
That's always a good problem too. Yeah, I'm still stuck on the afterwards. Even when it's like I'm drained, like you said, you have to take a minute, but you have to do it.
It's more of a want to. I don't have to.
I enjoy
doing it. Yeah, I enjoy doing it after. And even sometimes, I had a girl I was having sex with. She would scratch my back, but she would scratch it to the point where like it would kind of break skin. So when I would take a shower, and you know when you have a cut and you hit and the shower hits you, you feel like that burning sensation. I would masturbate with that burning sensation on my back. So I would really relive the moment of her scratching my back.
You're feeling the pain again in your mind with the. Well, you use it all.
Yeah, I told you I utilize everything when it comes to sex. Every single thing, whatever I can to make this sexual experience like amazing and unique, I'm going for it.
Okay, drunk sex or high sex?
Drunk sex.
Really?
Yeah, because of my job, I can't really smoke, so I haven't really experienced a lot of high sex. But when I have had high sex, I don't really feel like I have the energy. Like I'm too relaxed. I'm too yeah, I'm just too relaxed. I don't really have the stamina.
Okay. That's
like,
fair.
Yeah, like sex off tequila. I have this history of just like having wild sex like off tequila. Like I'm you'll see those cartoons and the kid has too much sugar and he's just bouncing off the walls.
That's
Not really
you.
bouncing off the walls, but I'm just like, yes. Let's go. One of my
it's like Red Bull, it gave you wings.
Yeah. It's like one of my fondest moments of like having sex like off liquor, off tequila. I don't know if it was the liquor or it was her, but I was eating this girl's ass and it tasted like strawberries. It tastes like a strawberry smoothie.
That had to be the tequila.
And then right afterwards, I was fucking. But the thing about it is like you're getting one round of it, but it's an amazing round.
That's fair enough.
Yeah. And then after that, I am knocked. Like I'm definitely KO immediately.
So do you eat everybody's ass or is it just certain people? Or is it when the mood hits you, when it strikes you?
It's more so the mood. It's a mixture between the mood and the person.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm not, but I will say like, 'cause I was okay with it. I didn't mind like eating ass, but ever since I had ate that girl's ass that tasted like a strawberry smoothie, I've been like chasing that sensation. Like, what does your ass taste like? Let's find out.
I'm like, what is this name? Because I'm like, was it a body wash? Did you use flavored lube? Like, or was that you just tripping?
Did. I don't know what she did. I don't know if I was tripping, if it was her, but I know I've been chasing that.
Chasing strawberry flavored ass.
I've been chasing strawberry flavored ass for years.
I feel like that's always been my biggest hang up there is like the front, I'll lick it up, slobber it, all that stuff. Mm-hmm. But going to the bag, nobody has. This is where I always make the disclaimer. If someone requested of me, I'm not a person who really says no. I'll try it. If I don't like it, then I'm like, But if that's what you get your rocks off, I'm at least try it for you.
Yeah.
No man has ever asked me to do it.
Oh. Well, then you ain't got nothing to worry about.
I'm like, we'll keep the streak alive. But yeah, I haven't had anybody be like, that's my shit. So get back there, Mm-hmm. Do you enjoy it?
Oh yeah, I do. But I enjoy pleasing. That's like my thing. I have like this thing. Well, I'm a switch, so I enjoy being a dom and I enjoy being a sub. But the sub part of me, I have this thing where I call it like a good boy syndrome. So it's like oh, you're doing good, or you're making me happy, or you're pleasing me. You're so great. Like I love compliments. So
come on.
Yeah, that does it for me.
That's what you said. You're ego stroking. You mentioned that earlier.
Yeah, it's part of the ego stroke.
I like it.
In different ways. Yeah.
All right. What is the one thing you wish women, and this is a generalization, that women could do differently during sex? They think they're so fucking good at that most women are just like, oh, I kill that shit, but they're not. Because I feel like it's different hearing this from men than us just guessing.
Doing good. Well, it's not that they're doing good. I wish the women would stop assuming that they have good pussy.
Oh,
and put the effort towards their sexual interaction. And this is not all, honestly, and I feel like I haven't even had a lot of experiences with this, but I know there are women that just like, well, I'm giving you the pussy, so do what you're supposed to be doing, or you're supposed to be pleasing me. And it's like, that's not how it works. It's an equivalent exchange. Now I understand that a good amount of niggas have trash ass dick. So it's just like, it hasn't been, you might not feel like it's been a fair experience to you because he wasn't good at it, or he didn't communicate, or he wasn't listening, or anything like that. But put the effort, put your own effort forward, put your best foot forward and put some effort, and then just like laying there and just being like, oh, I'm giving you pussy.
Yeah. I like where this conversation is going. And if you want to hear the rest of this conversation, then you need to head on over to patreon.com/the Boonie Breakdown to hear the rest of it. It'll probably be like another 15-20 minutes, guys. So head on over there now. All right, Orlando, can you tell everyone where they can find you on the internet, on social media, where they can listen to your podcast? Anything you want to plug? It's your time.
All right. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Dear Orlando Roye. It's like writing a letter. Dear Orlando, Roye. The Heart of Soft podcast, an amazing podcast with my co-host Tahoe TV, is on Instagram and Twitter at Hard or Soft Pod. That's Hard or Soft Pod. You can sign up to our Patreon where we give you bonus content. It's a great time over there. We have a group chat for our Patreon members, so we're in there just chatting it up with them. That's patreon.com/Hard or Soft Pod. And for the OnlyFans, where it's adult content, where you're seeing the exclusive, amazing videos of me and everyone else, that is onlyfans.com/hard or soft.
All right. So I will link all of those on the show notes and on the booniebreakdown.com. Look, you want to sign up because I'm going to go ahead and sign up. I want to see the curve. I am sold. I'm telling you, the aura, it just comes through the screen. It's
Thank you.
I get what Sheikah's saying now. So Sheikah, you were right, because I know you're listening. So thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
All right, that is it for this week's episode. I want to thank Orlando. What did he tell me before we started recording? I could call him Big Dick Bad Bitch. Okay. Was I right, or was I right that the big dick energy comes through the whole conversation? That big dick meter don't never be wrong for me. All right. And so I know you guys are probably pissed, but you can head on over to patreon.com/the Boonie Breakdown to hear the rest of my conversation with Orlando. It was so dope, super amazing, and it'll be totally worth your effort, time, and coin. All right. Be sure to support our sponsor, Dame Products. You can use the code Boonie, all cap letters, to save 10% on your purchase. The products are dope. You guys know I would not lead you astray. All right. And if you enjoyed this episode, I encourage you to listen and subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, YouTube, or any app that you listen to your favorites on. Don't forget to leave a review too. You might just hear your 5-star review in the next episode. Follow us on all social media. Share the episode with those you love, those you don't love, those you fucking hate. I don't make these pretty images for nothing, okay? Have a dope ass week. Stay healthy, safe, and sane. Thank you for listening. And remember, the ratchet in me always honors the ratchet in you. Namaste. Until next time.